Sit back and enjoy this one. Second and final meeting between these two teams. For Doc, he's in. DeCord says no on Kirby Doc. Montour, they score! A tip out in front. Monty gets the mash on the power play. Comes across Montour for Wright. He scores! Shane Wright with another lifeline. One-timer Montour, he scores! And the Kraken have tied it.
First of two meetings this season, the Seattle Kraken and the New York Rangers.
Stevenson scores! Chandler Stevenson goes top shelf. It's a hammer. They score! It's a Monty mash. Brandon Montour has 3 goals in his last 2.
The Kraken are off to their best start in franchise history. Tuesday was their 4th overtime game of the season and 2nd against Montreal. Now, the team will try to take some of that momentum they built in October and ride it into November. Welcome to another edition of Kraken Home Ice. In tonight's episode, Cale Fleury talks to us about the impact his older brother and Winnipeg Jets defenseman Hayden has had on his hockey journey. We're sitting down one-on-one with head coach Lane Lambert as he and the team start to get settled into a groove. He tells us about maintaining rest and rhythm during a busy season and the confidence he has in his players. Plus, Ryan Winterton knows a lot about balancing travel with playing at his best, how it's all paid off. Tuesday was the Frozen Frenzy, all 32 NHL teams playing on the same night. In Seattle, the Kraken were taking on the Canadiens. Looked like Montreal's game until the 3rd period. Down 3-0, the Kraken come alive. Brandon Montour rifles one from the blue line. A power play goal, and it's 3-1. Under 5 minutes to go. Shane Wright, top of the circle, gets the puck and smokes one to cut the lead to 3-2. Joey DeCord gets pulled for the extra attacker, and it pays off. Montour sends a missile through traffic, and with 1:43 left, it's tied 3-3. They go to overtime, and less than a minute in, Cole Caulfield skates in and stuffs the puck past DeCord for the game winner. The Kraken salvage a point in the 4-3 overtime loss.
We were just battling. We were working. I think obviously not a great first 2.5 periods there, but we gave ourselves a chance. Obviously, really proud of the guys and how we came back there and got a harder point there and good fight by everyone there.
On the injury front, things are looking up for the team. Right now, Riker Evans, Freddie Gaudreau, and Jared McCann are all on injured reserve. Capo Caco made his return to the ice Saturday after being out with a hand injury. This season has seen the growth of a number of young players on the ice, including Cale Fleury. Since the expansion draft, he's been one of the go-tos from Coachella Valley. This season, he made the opening night roster. Ariel Ursuto has more on the young defenseman.
Competition is at the core of Cale Fleury.
This is where I want to be, so I think it's easy to be motivated.
But his competition is standing in the way of him becoming a full-time NHL player. Through the first month of the season, Fleury saw action in 4 of 10 games, and as the team gets healthier, his minutes are fewer and farther between. But the competitor inside is fighting for every scrap.
Especially not being in the lineup, it's just even more motivation, just lights a fire under you.
But if he's looking for some external motivation, he looks no further than another Fleury in the league.
My brother's kind of been through a lot of similar situations as I have, so he's somebody who's easy that I can lean on for advice and even just to vent to.
The relationship between Cale and Hayden is, well, you guessed it, competitive.
Obviously, me being the younger brother growing up, I was a lot of losing and stuff, so I feel like it made me better. I feel like I'm kind of one of the guys that's pretty good at a lot of things, and I got my certain things I'm better than that. I think the last time we played basketball, I beat him one-on-one, and I have my fair share of golf rounds too, where I'm beating him. So yeah, it's close but competitive.
While he can't have his brother Hayden in his Kraken dressing room, he has 20+ other guys that he can call his brother on any given night.
Especially when you get a good group of guys and it's just like tight knit, and everybody's gelling together. It makes a big difference and it helps out on the ice too. Like one of the best things about playing in the NHL is just the road trips, just hanging out with the guys. And, I mean, I'm sure a lot of the guys say that too, but just hanging out with the guys on the road, going out for nice dinners, kind of just talking, hanging out. It's a lot of downtime on the road, so you're just hanging out with the boys, having fun.
But the fun and relaxation won't get in the way of his ultimate goal.
I just try to take as many steps as I can to be an everyday NHLer. That's my goal, is just to get in the lineup, whether that's here or even if it's elsewhere, if I have to get moved or something like that. I'm trying to get into a roster spot in the league.
For Cale Fleury shot, tip, scores! The New Jerseys finally made their debut at Climate Pledge Arena. On Saturday, fans got to see the uniforms glow for the first time. Included in the on-ice reveal was a special pregame show. Any fans who wore the third jersey glowed along with the team.
The glow in the dark is amazing. I had mine under the lights all day today, so it'd be nice and glowing for tonight.
It's awesome. I was in the Navy, I was a sonarman, and it has the sonar stuff on it, so I had to have it.
I actually like the Abyss sweater far more than all of the other ones that they've come out with, because I'm a normal goth, quote-unquote, metalhead wearing black, and so I love this sweater.
More to come on Kraken Home Ice. We're hearing from head coach Lane Lambert as the team is off to a hot start. How getting to know his team has helped him make quick game time adjustments.
Part of that is you know the player better, you know where they can go, you know how they can help.
Plus, it's all about the celebrities in this week's shootout. Find out who the players would like to trade places with for a day. It's Halloween weekend, and the Kraken get into the spirit by channeling their best Adam Sandler. On Wednesday, Sandler was performing at Climate Pledge Arena, and the whole team dressed up as different versions of him. Players dressed up as characters from 50 First Dates, Happy Gilmore, The Wedding Singer, and You Don't Mess with the Zohan. Some players even wore Sandler's signature oversized t-shirt and shorts look. Their creative costumes were Adam Sandler approved. The team has been battling every night under head coach Lane Lambert. There's a newfound intensity among the players. We talked to Lane about the importance of maintaining rest and rhythm during a busy season.
The rhythm is you're playing, maybe you're playing every second day and you're just in rhythm, but at the end of the day, that adds up to fatigue. So how do you balance the rest and make sure that you stay in rhythm, and really when you look at it, the rest is huge because you can't play tired. It's very difficult to win when you're tired. But also now when you come back, you get a few days off. So how do you balance that? And really you can get that rest and you can keep your rhythm with hard practices.
Yeah,
and that's what we're looking to do here over the next, couple of days anyways, or, heading into this stretch of games.
Some coaches kind of steer clear of playing their younger players at all leagues. Could be football, baseball, anything. But you seem to be a guy that has trust in younger players. Where does that come from?
Not everybody's going to be good every night. It's just you can't expect that out of any player for 82 games. And I feel like we've got some good young players. I feel like we've got some young players that are growing and getting better. Putting them in certain situations will continue to help that. And then, you make that assessment on a game-to-game basis. And younger players are no different than older players in terms of, okay, who's going on that particular night and whether or not they warrant more ice time. And again, like I said, sometimes guys just aren't playing quite as well as they can or should. And sometimes that just happens, so you just make adjustments from there.
How long does it take you as a head coach to be watching the game and noticing that someone doesn't have it?
Doesn't take that long, to be honest. You can generally tell within the first 10 minutes of the game whether a guy's on or not. That doesn't mean you don't give them an opportunity to get out of it, because players can get out of it. But certainly, there's an indication early on in the game if a guy's going or not going.
How about as far as the Montreal game the other night? You made some tweaks late in the game with your lines, and you had some success with it. Is that to do with coaching instinct and experience, or maybe a little balance between what you know a player can do now that you're getting to know them better?
Well, yeah, you know, I think it's a bit of both, to be honest with you. And, you know, coming in here new, you don't know something until you own it and you see it every day. You know, I can see a guy maybe twice a year and not really, you know him as well as I know him now. And certainly now I'm getting to know our players a lot better. You know, so part of that is you know the player better, you know where they can go, you know how they can help. And, you know, you make adjustments on the fly. Your instincts tell you, you know, to do that. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But those things are based on, you know, what do you need a spark? You know, like, for example, we put Montour and Dunn out there together because we needed to create some offense in that standpoint. Flipped a couple of wingers because we felt like they weren't going or that line wasn't working at that particular time, and you're just looking for a spark. So you're trying to create a spark and get the team going.
Vince Dunn again. One-timer, Montour, he scores!
How about off the ice? Let's talk about these black jerseys you guys have with the glow-in-the-dark anchor logo. Things that, what are your thoughts on those?
Well, I think all our jerseys are amazing, to be honest with you. And this one here is, I think they kind of knocked it out of the park with this one as well. Certainly, my kids came in for the opening weekend, and there was a lot of those jerseys that they were wearing. So, you know, obviously a very popular choice for jerseys.
I would imagine that this Kraken logo, as you've seen over the last few years before you even got here, is a pretty popular logo across. They hit it out of the park on everything.
They did.
Yeah.
They did an amazing job. You know, just the logo, the colors, everything about it has been impressive right from day one. And when you get here and you see it every day, actually it becomes more impressive, which is kind of a cool thing.
Ron Francis is now a member of the Penguins Hall of Fame. The Kraken President of Hockey Operations was also inducted into the National Italian-American Sports Hall of Fame. Francis joins the 2025 Penguins Hall of Fame class, along with Kevin Stevens, Eddie Johnson, and Scotty Bowman. The two-way center won 2 Stanley Cups with the Penguins. 20 years post-retirement, Francis still sits 5th in NHL history with 1,798 points and 2nd with 1,249 assists. Brandon Montour returned to the lineup this week. He was back with the team after a personal leave of absence following the death of his brother, Cameron Noble Montour. Cameron died of ALS. Brandon said his brother was someone he always looked up to.
You know, it was a rough week, and, you know, very proud, very happy to be his brother. Somebody that I've looked up to since, obviously, day one, and you know, a great son, brother, best friend, father. You know, he's got 2 baby girls. But, you know, he battled hard. You gotta put, you know, everything in perspective with, you know, all the highs that, you know, I've had in the last couple of years with winning and, you know, hockey and having babies and creating my own family. He was at home battling. And, you know, right till the Monday when it happened, you know, he was smiling and he was ready. So, again, proud of him.
Cameron had been battling ALS for 3 to 4 years. Brandon was able to spend his brother's last days with him and their family. He says right now is a very tough time, but being back is helping.
Being back here in Seattle and seeing my kids and being a part of this again, you know, keep my mind off, you know, other things, which would be good, but miss him. And again, he's probably smiling and chirping me up there, you know, for crying.
Brandon has the full support of the entire Kraken organization.
He's a brother. I mean, anytime someone goes through something like that, it's extremely hard. I mean, just for him to be out here and battling with us, and it just, I mean, shows his compassion. And
praying for him and his family, and you know, we're all here for him. But yeah, it's great having him back. You know, as a guy, he's such a tremendous guy, such a great teammate, and you know, as a hockey player, obviously his game speaks for himself, and you know, it's huge having him back there.
It's pretty amazing to see what he's been through the last couple weeks here to even just be here, let alone playing as well as he is and perform at the level he's he always performs at day in day out is really special.
Between this leave and missing most of training camp due to injury, Montour has lost much of the early season.
I've only practiced once or twice all year and missed a lot, so try to get back into it as quick as I can.
Montour hasn't let his time off the ice slow him down. On Tuesday, he scored 2 goals against Montreal, leading the team's third period comeback. Tuesday also marked Montour's 300th NHL point. Head coach Lane Lambert continues to be impressed with Montour's heart and determination.
I expect nothing less than that. Just a character guy, obviously. And he certainly had a couple big situations for us and helped us at least secure a point.
Montour says the love and support from his team has helped him grieve.
The guys have been great. It's a good group with realizing that there's things outside of the game that are important. And again, I needed time. I still need time, and this is going to be a long process. But happy to be back.
When the Kraken aren't on the ice, they're often helping out in the community. This week, Ty Cartier and Ryan Winterton made a visit to Rainier Prep and played ball hockey with one of the PE classes.
Check, check, check.
Might not even score.
What team?
Our team.
Your team?
Yeah.
Who's on my team? All right, let's go, guys. Oh! Yeah!
Oh! See you guys. Nice to meet you.
Ryan Winterton is finding his place on the Kraken, a more permanent place than seasons before. Sometimes hockey is unpredictable, but one thing that stays the same with Ryan is the smile on his face.
Plenty of planes, trains, and automobiles have transported Ryan Winterton up and down hockey rosters in the past.
Yeah, exactly. Some Delta points, but happy to now be going back and forth so far yet this year.
The travel can be taxing, even for young players taxiing between the NHL and the minors.
It can be tough when you're flying the same day and then playing later the night and the Coachella Valley. So days get long, travel gets tough, but I think in the end it's worth it.
Winterton, he scored 20-some goals last year in Coachella.
The payoff, playing in every game for the Kraken through the first month of October.
I think just play my game, play fast, not taking a night off. I think also a lot of it's just coming to confidence and trusting yourself and what you can do. And I think so far I've done a good job of that.
And smiling through any pain that comes his way.
I'm kind of just always laughing. I don't know, just kind of find humor in everything. And just trying to have fun with whatever I'm doing.
The goals will come, but for Winterton, his goal is to be called upon whenever needed and save those frequent flyer miles for another day.
Get better and better every game. Grow as a person, a player, and just again try and stay here as long as I can. Hopefully the whole year, and see where that takes me.
Hockey takes up a majority of the players' lives, but what if they had a different profession? In this week's shootout, we asked the players who's a celebrity they'd like to trade places with for one day.
LeBron James.
I'll go Timothy Chalamet.
Miles Teller. Yeah.
Maybe like Jim Carrey.
Brad Pitt.
I was on vacation with Djokovic this summer. He was a couple beach chairs next to me, so that would be awesome to be in his shoes like for one tournament. That would be awesome.
Probably right now would be Scottie Scheffler.
Scottie Scheffler.
Maybe Lionel Messi.
Messi.
That's a tough one. Maybe Tom Brady or something like that.
Tom Brady.
Josh Allen.
Maybe Leo DiCaprio.
Be fun to try another sport, I'd say. Yeah, maybe tennis. Be fun to be like Alcaraz, young and filled with energy, you know? That'd be nice.
With new jerseys comes new lights. Next on Kraken Home Ice, the adjustments that had to be made at Climate Pledge Arena to help the new uniforms glow.
With new jerseys come new adjustments. Changes had to be made at Climate Pledge Arena to get ready for the team's new uniforms. Brianna Vasquez goes behind the scenes of making the jerseys glow.
Every time the Kraken hit the ice, they enter through a tunnel of lights. But for the games where they sport their new black jerseys, new lights have been added.
They're like theatrical grade black lights, so not what you would get at like your local Halloween store.
Before the players take the ice, their jerseys will be charged in this tunnel. It's the same tunnel they enter every game from, but this time there's UV lights set up in the front and the back to make sure once they enter the arena, their jerseys pop.
The players are usually in the tunnel for 30 seconds to a minute, which is the perfect amount of time to get charged. It was trial and error when it came to the most effective way to get the jerseys to glow.
It's actually woven into the stitching. It was special stitching that's glow in the dark. It wasn't like a paint that was added later or anything. So it's baked into the threads that are into the jersey.
How different lights could impact the players also had to be taken into account.
We worked with the medical staff and the front office of the hockey team to make sure that like these are going to be safe, they're not going to bother players' eyes, that they're not going to feel funny or weird or tingly. So we did a lot of testing ahead of time, and one of the tests was, what does this look like with the visor on? And like, it turns off. It's crazy.
The tunnel is not the only area of the arena that saw changes. UV lights will also be implemented throughout, making it possible for the fans to glow along with the team.
So there's times where your jersey's gonna look like it's blinking on and off because the UV lights are blinking on and off. And everything we do, we want it to be like an immersive experience, and we really try to add an interactive experience to that.
This season, fans might have noticed the tentacle that usually comes down from the rafters has been replaced with a giant S logo the players now skate through. Well, fans will get the best of both worlds at games featuring the black jerseys.
For the fans that really love the tentacle and may have been missing the tentacle, it comes back on these third jersey nights, you know, in parallel with our new entry piece. So you kind of get to blend the two together.
The Kraken continue their homestand this week. On Monday, the Chicago Blackhawks are in town. Then on Wednesday, the Kraken take on the San Jose Sharks. And on Thursday and Friday, comedian Nate Bargatze is performing at Climate Pledge Arena.
So overall, it's a nice dose of home cooking for the Kraken at Climate Pledge Arena. And that'll do it for this edition of Kraken Home Ice. You can catch us every Saturday night at 10:30 on Kong and 11:35 Sunday nights on King 5. Thanks for looking in. We'll see you next week.